Next on the list is a pre-trial conference in 2023 LM 283 Diltor Properties LLC versus Kennedy Kelly and others. Please announce appearances.
Locke on behalf of the plaintiff Diltor Properties, who does not appear.
All right, and is Kennedy Kelly here?
Yes, Your Honor.
And next to you is one of the defendants. Would that be Sydney or Michaela?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay,
Yes, Your Honor.
Sydney is in the white t-shirt, Michaela's in the white sweatshirt. Okay, and who is that with Miss Kelly?
This is my mom. She was my co-sign on the lease for the house.
Okay, now one of you had an attorney, but the attorney has been allowed to withdraw, so none of the defendants have attorneys, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and Ms. Locke, a brief overview of the petition. As I understand it, you're trying to collect $5,750 joint and severally with these three college students who were or are roommates and apparently rented from your client, who now alleges that there was some water damage in that amount. Is that basically the crux of it?
Yes, Your Honor. Damage to the plumbing fixtures that required significant repair.
And then there was and your theory that they owe that money is basically what?
The terms of the contract require them to pay, well, to maintain the fixtures, to maintain the property in good order. Essentially, the facts will demonstrate that when they left for Christmas break in 2020, they shut the heat completely off, not just turned it down, which resulted in the pipes freezing and significant damage to the plumbing. Then my client had to incur the expenses to repair the fixtures and demanded that the tenants pay based on their negligent actions. They refused, and here we are.
Okay. Miss Kelly, you don't believe you owe that money, is that correct?
Yes, Your
Can I
Honor.
chime in? Okay. Your Honor, I'm going to chime in because my name is also on the lease. So when the damages were incurred, it was when the
Okay,
winter.
what is your name? I'm sorry.
My name is Kelly Sherpy.
Your Honor, this individual is not a party to the case, so I would object to her making any statements on the record. Furthermore, Miss Kelly Kelly, sorry, did not respond to discovery and has not provided anything as far as a pretrial document goes. We did submit pretrial, so this idea that another individual would be in pled at pretrial conference seems improper.
All right, so she says her name is on the lease, but she's not named as a defendant.
That's correct, Your Honor. All of the parents co-signed
I see.
on the lease for their children, but all of the individuals named as defendants are adults.
Okay. All right, so back to you, Miss Kelly. You didn't respond to any of the discovery, that is the questions that were sent to you after the petition was filed and you filed an answer.
So the previous.
Hang on. Are you an attorney, Ms. Sherpy?
Mhm.
She was just,
All right, Ms. Sherpy, did you say you are an attorney?
No, I'm not.
Okay, but you are her mother, but she is a legal adult. Okay, and you're not named as a defendant. So go ahead, Ms. Kelly.
I was brought to believe that it was done through my previous attorney, who is not a part of this case anymore. So they were initially taking care of everything. I sent them all my documents, everything, and they said that they had sent it forward.
That it had been submitted.
I don't know what that means. Sent it forward?
Or it had been submitted.
Submitted to whom?
To the court, because I sent all of my evidence and all of my answers to them so that it could be sent to the court.
Did you send your answers and documents to Ms. Locke?
I do not believe so. I believe I sent it. I would need to look at their name.
Well, she was the attorney that requested it. She's the attorney that filed the case, but you don't think you answered her questions to her? You think you sent them to the court?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Boleyn, does that sound right? Did she send you some questions for discovery that should have gone to Ms. Locke, or do you know?
Just a moment. I don't see anything in the case. When were they sent?
Ms. Kelly, when did you send them?
I believe this was during the school year. I am going back and looking through right now. I apologize. Not that one.
Your Honor, if it's helpful, we sent notice of service of our discovery request on June 2nd and June 6th.
And
So that would have most likely been outside of the spring school year.
Yes, I just have to. Can you grab your phone?
baby,
Okay, so, all right, so what in a nutshell is your reason that you don't owe the money?
I was not there. I was the first to leave, and
there's no photo evidence.
there was only, you can't talk,
I'm talking to you.
I understand.
Well, you need to stop. She needs to either get an attorney or represent herself since she is an adult. Go ahead.
There was not sufficient photo evidence. We were given 4 pictures when we asked for proof, and we were just handed the 4 pictures in the bill and a brief explanation on what had happened. And I was not in the state when this happened. I was the first of us 3 to leave. I believe I left around the 13th of that month, and I had done everything I could to make sure I was leaving the house well, I could say. Turning off all my lights, doing what I could, but I never touched the thermostat or any of the other fixtures.
Did you return to live in the residence after Christmas break?
Yes, ma'am, until we were handed our notice and we vacated.
And when were you given the notice?
I believe it was a month after, because we were handed the bill, and then through communication with our landlord, when we decided we were not going to pay because of insufficient evidence, we were handed an eviction notice.
All right, so Ms. Woodard, what is your response to this petition in a nutshell?
My response would be that I was also not present on the property at the time that the incurred damages happened. I left the property on December 14th, and I had left the country. I live in Canada. I'm from Canada. I had left to go back home. I returned to the property in January, and all the damages have already been incurred. I left the property in good standing. When I had left, I had unplugged all of my own fixtures. I had turned off all the lights. I had made sure that the thermostat was in good condition, and I had notified Diltor Properties that I was leaving for Christmas break, and they had no response to that as to anything that they wanted done to prep the property for our departure. So I had left the country and had not spoken to Diltor Properties or anything of the sorts while I was away, and I returned in January, and we had been given an eviction notice shortly after that.
You said you returned to the damage. Could you tell there was damage when you returned?
No, not at all. I had no idea what had occurred. All that was said was that plumbing damages had incurred, and they were fixing the property when I had returned. So I was not allowed to stay at the property for 2 weeks until all the damages were fixed.
But you never saw any damage?
No.
Okay, so are you contesting that there was any damage?
I wouldn't say I'm contesting it. I'm just saying that I was not aware of anything that had happened while I was out of the country until I was notified after.
But your position is if damage did occur, you're not responsible.
I would say my contestation is that $6,000 in damages seems absurd as to what evidence we were given.
All right, so amount is too high. Okay.
And my other contestation would be that on our lease, it states that we are only responsible for plumbing fixtures. And when I look at the definition of plumbing fixtures, that would consist of the faucets, the toilet, things that aren't in the ground. And from what our understanding is that the pipes that had been broken were underneath the house. And also the water heater was replaced according to the bill that we were given.
Okay. And Ms. Lentz, your response to this petition?
Yes, Your Honor. Sorry for my voice. I've been sick. So I left December 17th for Christmas break, and I thought that when I was turning off the AC. I didn't think I was turning off the heater. And so then when I was leaving, because I was the last one to leave, I didn't realize that there was going to be a bigger snowstorm. It said that in the weather that week, that it was in the 60s. And then when I left, I went to my father's house, and then we had that snowstorm. And then I went to go check back on the house, and yeah, so it's just a very interesting situation. And then they also charged us for a crawl space. The evidence that they didn't give us was only the 4 pictures, and in one of the pictures it only showed one pipe actually being broken. And the pipes were, when they pulled them out, they said they were covered in styrofoam and duct tape, and they were already corroded. And yeah.
So are you denying that there are any damages done, or do you agree with the damages? The damage to property?
Sorry, can you say that again? You cut out.
Well, what is it that you're contesting in this petition? First of all, are you contesting that there was any damage to the property?
Not on my part. No, ma'am. No, Your Honor.
You didn't have anything to do with the damage. And so you're not okay, so you're saying you're not responsible, but do you know if there was damage? Are you saying there was damage and it wasn't your responsibility, or there just was no damage at all?
When I left, there wasn't any damage at all.
And when you came back, was there any damage?
Not that I was aware of, besides when we got notified that we had to pay for the plumbing.
All right. And what is your response to the amount that is requested?
I think it is a little absurd, and I wish that they would have communicated with us a little bit more better instead of just serving us an eviction notice and the bill.
In your answer, you denied the allegations and requested 14 days to file an answer or other pleading. But you didn't file any other pleadings besides this document, did you, that has affirmative facts and defenses?
I turned in every document that was given to me by Ms. Locke.
Okay. But none of you are going to have an attorney in these proceedings, is that correct? The 3 defendants?
No, on my part at least.
We will be moving forward.
You will have an attorney from this point forward?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Or at least on my part.
Well, this is a pre-trial hearing to decide a number of factors. Ms. Locke, have you any matters you want to pursue in this regard, the pre-trial hearing specifically?
Your Honor, I did submit to all of the defendants, what in Chapter 60 would be a pretrial questionnaire. But all of the pre-hearing information was submitted prior to our last hearing, including all of the documents that we intend to present at trial, as well as a witness list. I did not receive any of the same items from the defendants. I did follow up with each defendant after our last court appearance on the 3rd of July, when we had to be rescheduled because of a scheduling conflict. I requested all of them submit their discovery responses because none of them had responded. And Ms. Woodward and Ms. Lentz both responded to the discovery requests. I have their documents, and I think what they intend to present at trial. Again, I haven't received anything from Ms. Kelly. I don't think any of the defendants here today have established a legal basis for why our claim should be denied, other than they don't think they should have to pay for the damages that were caused to the property. Ms. Lentz just specifically stated that she shut off the heater, and then it got cold and everything froze. The contract does hold them jointly and severally liable for the damages, and there's some comments in their answers that they were evicted. I think it's important to note that they were not evicted from the property, but they left voluntarily. That can also be established at trial. I think, Your Honor, one of the main things that we want to clear up today before we proceed is whether or not a jury trial is going to be necessary. Ms. Kelly's prior attorney requested a jury trial. As I said, the contract requires the tenants to pay for any attorney's fees, and the cost of a trial is going to be significant, probably more than the damage claim. In addition to that, all three defendants are college students who are only in El Dorado and Butler County for a temporary amount of time. One defendant is an international student, and we would be concerned about our ability to collect on a judgment or even get to a judgment if they are not available for said jury trial.
How long do you think this trial might take, Ms. Locke?
Your Honor, we have the plumbing company available to testify, as well as the landlord that will testify. I would imagine we would be done in a day, but I don't know with jury selection procedures and those things, and
Okay,
having
but you're
three
not
defendants.
You're not asking for jury trial, right?
I am not, Your Honor.
Ms. Kelly, are you still wanting a jury trial?
I am open to whatever is best. That was my.
Here.
That was, we are currently looking for another attorney, which has been kind of difficult between moving to Texas, but we tried to settle and they denied it. We gave them an offer of a certain amount of money and it was denied.
Well, if I set a trial date, your attorney will need to be ready for that trial. Have you talked to any attorneys at all about getting ready for trial other than the one that left your case?
We are currently still reaching out. We have had trouble trying to find an attorney.
How much more time do you think you're going to need to find this attorney?
Good question. A few weeks.
Okay. And the other two of you, you said you do not intend to have an attorney, Ms. Lentz, is that right? Double checking.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Ms. Woodward, double checking with you.
Sorry, Your Honor. Yes, I will also be moving forward without a lawyer.
Okay. So I'm thinking maybe set this over for 2 weeks for another pretrial to see if you do get an attorney. Ms. Locke, any objection to that?
Your Honor, we would object. Her attorney filed a motion to withdraw, which was approved by the court, and that was back in June. We were before the court earlier this month where there was no mention of an attorney or wanting to find an attorney. We're now here at the end of July. The farther we get from when this case was filed and the damages were incurred, the harder is going to be for my clients to collect on this judgment and hold their tenants accountable.
So how far out are you at this time? It doesn't sound like we have a true request for jury trial because the attorney that asked for it is gone, and Ms. Kelly said she's going to be talking to an attorney. So we can set this either for another pretrial, or we can set this for a bench trial. And then if the other attorney thinks that they need to come in and ask for something different, we can always reconsider that. But Ms. Locke?
Yeah, sorry, Your Honor, I apologize. We would like a bench trial date set.
And how far out? You said you're going to have about 2 witnesses. Ms. Kelly, how many witnesses will you have?
I believe I will have, I would like to move forward with another pretrial. I would like to make that known. And for a case of witnesses, I don't believe, I believe I have 1.
1 witness. Ms. Lentz, how many witnesses will you have?
Your Honor, I apologize. Since there was no pretrial disclosure, can she tell us the name of that witness so
Sure.
we can be prepared?
Sure. Who is your witness?
My father, who was in communication with the landlord
In construction.
and who is in construction.
And what's his name?
I believe, I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember if it is my stepdad. It is my stepfather, Ryan Sherpy.
B-R-I-A-N?
RYANSHERPY.
And is he going to be a fact witness? Or is he being presented as an expert witness based on his knowledge of construction?
Yes.
An expert witness.
Your Honor, again, there's been no disclosure of any of these things, and there was a prior attorney involved in this case on behalf of this particular defendant. And no responses to our discovery where we did request information about witnesses who could come forward on behalf of Miss Kelly.
Well, at this time, I will show him as a fact witness. I don't have any reason at this time to know what his credentials are, but if they want to get their attorney, again, their attorney can raise these issues and we'll take them back up. Anyone else that you're going to have come in?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Lentz? Any witnesses?
No witnesses, Your Honor.
No, you're not going to either one testify on your own behalf even?
Oh, yes, me. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Okay. How about you, Ms. Kelly? Are you going to testify on your own behalf?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, so you're going to have a Brian Sherpy, and you're going to have yourself testify. Kelly Lentz is going to have herself testify. Ms. Woodard, who are your witnesses?
Only myself, Your Honor.
Okay. And how much time are you asking the court to reserve for this bench trial, Ms. Locke?
Your Honor, we will only need a few hours. I'm not sure based on the defendant's witness list how long they will need.
Does anyone have any suggestions? Belinda, do we have, if we start, do we have a day where we could start at 1:30 instead of 2:30 and reserve the afternoon? Which means we could use it at 1:30.
Mhm.
Ms. Locke, I know that's probably a little further than you'd like to go, but that'd be 4 weeks.
Yep, that works for my calendar, Your Honor.
All right, everyone else, August 28 at 1:30, you can be here, and we do these generally by Zoom. So if you have any exhibits that you want the court to consider, you'll need to exchange those at least a week before court and with all the parties and with the clerk at the courthouse. Now, did I see some kind of counter petition or cross petition in here? Does
Your Honor,
anybody?
there was a claim originally by Miss Kelly for attorney's fees. I replied to that and then it was dismissed.
Okay, all right, so no counter petitions. Okay. Anything else that we need to take up at this time? Now, Ms. Kelly, I will expect your attorney, that's 4 weeks out, I'll expect your attorney to be on board and ready to go to trial at that time and not come in at the last minute
Yes, Your Honor.
saying I've just been hired and I'm needing more time.
Yes,
Your
Your
Honor, if you don't mind, I would just like to confirm with all of the defendants that they are receiving my emails. With them moving, it's difficult to get mailings out. So if they are receiving my emails, that would be my preferred way to share exhibits and things going forward.
Anyone not getting her emails?
When was the last email you sent? I just want to make sure that I saw it or it went through.
I emailed you on Monday, July 3rd.
3rd. Okay. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, I see this. Okay, yes. So going forward, I got you.
Anything else that we need to address from anyone?
Nothing further from the plaintiffs, Your Honor.
Hearing nothing further, then we'll reconvene on August 28th at 1:30 for trial by Zoom. Thank
Thank
you
you,
all.
Your Honor.
We will be in recess and you may go, all of you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.